This is a look at the June 2018 Human and Social Biology paper 1. And the paper starts off with its customary instructions for instructing you to do all questions and the amount of time you have, 101 15 minutes, and that you have A, B, C, and D to choose from. And you are to choose one of these answers, and they give you a sample item and show you how to shade your work and answer it. And just a reminder that you have to provide the best answer. The best answer is what they're asking for. So before we jump in to the first question, we want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel, where we are releasing the papers in preparation for your exam. And do remember to like the video while you are subscribing. So question 1, the ability of a living organism to detect and respond to changes in its environment is referred to as irritability. Irritability. This first question is always from section A of the syllabus, and likewise the rest of questions follows the order of the syllabus. So after section A comes section B, followed by section C, D, and E. All right, and that will span 60 questions or 60 items. Item 2 refers to the following diagram, which represents an animal cell. The structure labeled X is involved in. Now, the structure that they are going to show you is the line is supposed to be running here. You just can't see it, and stopping up to about here. So if we with a highlight, this is where you were pointing to, and that is the rough endoplasmic reticulum, which is responsible for proteins. So B would be the answer. Question 3. Of a freshwater food chain, you see a plant, some kind of shrimp-like organism, fish, and what could be an egret. It is some kind of bird. I'm suggesting it's an egret. It doesn't have to be. So let's go on to the question. The organism labeled 1 Roman numeral 1 is what? It is not a herbivore. A herbivore feeds on plants. It is not an omnivore. Omnivore feeds on both plants and animals. A primary consumer. A primary consumer. Primary means first, and it's doing the consuming. So it's not a secondary consumer. So if we count it, this is the primary consumer. This will be the secondary consumer, meaning the second organism doing the eating. Hence, the answer is D. Item 4 refers to the following diagrams, which show a red blood cell before and after being placed in concentrated salt solution for 1 hour. This is the before, and part 2 is the after. Notice this cell has reduced in size, this blood cell reduced in size. The change in the red blood cell shown in 2 occurs because water has left, and the process by which water leaves in cells is called osmosis. So B is the answer. Which of the following is not a function of calcium? And we see this not in capital letters. That's the examiner trying to tell us, pay attention to this not. Calcium is responsible for absorption. No. Blood clotting. Yeah. Development of healthy teeth. Yeah. Development of healthy bones. Yeah. So A is the not function. Which of the following cell structures trap energy from sunlight to help in the production of simple sugars? And if we are trapping energy from sunlight, we are talking about photosynthesis. So this means plants, and the structure in which comes to mind should be chloroplasts. Which of the following statement is not true of anemia? Not in capital letters. I want persons to be so familiar that every time they see the capital letters, it instantly clicks in their mind. It is caused by a lack of iron compounds in the diet. That's true. It is developed because inadequate red blood cells are manufactured. It can be treated by eating green vegetables, liver, and egg yolk. It is caused when the DNA coding for hemoglobin is altered. So the answer, which one is not true? D. It is caused by a lack of iron. That's true. That's iron deficiency anemia. It is developed because inadequate red blood cells are manufactured. That's true. So that's not applicable for this question. It can be treated by eating green vegetables, those dark green leafy vegetables. Yes, that's true. It is caused when the DNA coding for hemoglobin is altered. All right. If this had gone on to say sickle cell anemia, if this was specific to sickle cell anemia, meaning they're talking about chromosomes, then this would have been true. But as it stands, just reading this statement is caused when the DNA coding for hemoglobin is altered. That's not true. Question 8. Which of the following reagents give a positive test for the main foods present in a slice of baked potato? The burette reagent is used to test for protein. Ethanol is used to test for fats or lipids. Iodine solution is used to test for starch. Benedict solution is used to test for sugars, such as a reducing sugar like glucose. So we know that in slice of baked potato, it's very starchy and it's known as a starchy food. So the starch one that we are looking for is iodine, which tests for starch. Kawashiorkor is a deficiency disease caused by a lack of protein. Do learn this question. It's a very popular question. Which of the following types of teeth is best, look, capital letters again, adapted for tearing rough pieces of food? We have the molar, incisor, canine, premolar. Molar is for grinding, incisor is for slicing, tearing. Canine is for puncturing, piercing. Premolar is for crushing. So the one that matches up with tearing, where you want to separate two pieces of food, is the incisor. Item 11 refers to the following diagram, which shows the internal structure of a tooth. And these labeled parts, the lines are missing, but you see the line stopping right here. This line goes a little further and it goes to here. All right. This one goes a little further to here. And this one, it's right there. The layer of the tooth, which is harder than bone, and enamel is the hardest substance in the human body. And that is one, that's the outer layer of the tooth. That's the part that you see when you smile. So A. Item 12 refers to the following diagram of a tooth. Again, we just saw one tooth. It was a different shaped tooth. And now we're looking at another shaped tooth. This one obviously is a pointy one, so it makes it a canine. Which of the following parts labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4 helps to hold the tooth in its socket? And if we are watching the parts, this part refers to the cementum or the teeth cement. So we are looking for number 4 as the answer. So 12 is D. Number 13, amino acids derived from protein, an essential nutrient component for our diet because they do what? You have to complete this. Provide much of our energy needs. Proteins, that's not the function of proteins. A good source, storage form of energy. Nah, that energy thing again. I use as a building block or building of new cells. Yeah, proteins are a good building because they talk about the amino acids derived from the protein. So yeah, speed up the metabolic reactions in the body. No, that's catalysts. Although catalysts are proteins, this is not their essential duty, right? This is not the only duty that proteins have. Enzymes are proteins. This, you can't say every protein is an enzyme, but C is the best answer. The process by which undigested food is eliminated from the body is digestion. This is a definition that CXC likes to use over and over, so make sure you pay attention to it and the word, all right? Not to be mixed up with excretion. Let's go to question 15. Which of the following is not, capital letters, a function of the colon? Absorption of water in the body. Yes, the colon does absorb water. Absorption of mineral salts into the body. Yeah, colon does that too. Brief storage of undigested material. Yes, it is a brief storage, and the rectum does some other storage as well. Absorption of digested food material into the body. No, that's the small intestines. The colon is the large intestines. So not the function. D is the answer. Question 16. Climbing up a mountain, a group of hikers find that breathing becomes difficult. This is most likely because the air has less oxygen. Straight away, we know that is the answer. They become tired from the long walk. Yes, they do get tired, but still A is the best answer. The temperature drops and the air is colder. That's true. That's just true. That don't really pertain to the question. They lose too much water by sweating. That's just true. They're just stating true things here now. All right, so A is the answer. Which of the following is the correct sequence of events in mouth-to-mouth resuscitation? Remember, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation is not to be mixed up with CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. 1, pinch the nostrils. 2, place your mouth over the other person and blow gently. 3, remove your mouth. And 4, tilt the head backwards. And they're asking you to put them in order. So we just want to go from, it's always easier to go from the end and go forward. Yeah, it's always easier to go from the end and probably go to the start. That's how I like to do it. So I am going to go with C, because when you remove your mouth, you finish. So this is the end. 2, place your mouth over them and blow gently. Yeah, that should come before you remove your mouth. Right? The only mix-up you could have found was how to place the first 2 steps. I've already told you the answer is C. So it means you should tilt the person's head back first before you pinch their nostrils. So C is the answer. Let's go on to question 18. Which of the following best completes the equation for aerobic respiration? Glucose and oxygen produces carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Remember these capital words, these capital letters for this word best, which means A is not the best. B is the best. C, I have no idea why the body producing carbon monoxide. Likewise, D is just completely wrong. So the answer, or the best answer, is B. Number 19, during respiration, the release of energy in a cell occurs when ATP, adenosine triphosphate, releases its energy and is converted to ADP, adenosine diphosphate. So A is that answer. Question 20. Which of the following substances found in cigarette smoke is addictive? And nicotine, one of the most addictive substances in the world, makes B the answer for number 20. Item 21 refers to the following diagram of the heart. Which of the following is a correct comparison of the structures labeled X and Y? And if we're watching X here and we're watching Y here, all right, they present us, so we will read through all the choices. We see X have thicker walls, thinner walls, sends blood to the body, and blood leaves at high pressure. and you could just pick one side to see which things are right. All right, and straight away we see in thicker walls, no. Thinner walls, yes. Sends blood to the body, no. Blood leaves at high pressure, no, because X supplies the pulmonary circuit. X supplies the pulmonary circuit, which is the lungs, which are literal neighbor organs to the heart. All right, there's a right lung. When you go up here and you turn, there's a right lung and there is a left lung. All right, those two are that pair of lungs is also in the chest next to the heart. So you don't need high pressure. It's not as if you're going all around the body, which is what the answer is, right? So 21 is B. 22. Which of the following vitamins assists in the process of blood clotting? Vitamin K, which is D. Which of the following is a tough, flexible, fibrous connective tissue that joins two bones to form a stable joint? If you're joining two bones, you know joining bone to bone is ligament. All right, muscle, you know what muscle is. Tendons join muscle to bone. Cartilage is found in between bones. All right, so only D fits the requirement. Coronary thrombosis occurs when the coronary artery is blocked. So we are looking for the one that says that, which is B. The coronary artery becomes blocked with a blood clot. All right, when the valves stop working in the heart, you're in trouble. Coronary vein becomes blocked with a blood clot. The coronary vein, yes, it is important, no doubt, but for the purpose of this question, you want your coronary artery to be blocked. That's a better answer. 25 refers to the following diagram of a type of cell. And the mere fact that you see this lobed nucleus, it instantly tells you that this is a phagocyte. Phagocyte has a lobed nucleus. It's a type of white blood cell. And the question asks, the diagram most likely represents a phagocyte because we could easily identify it because of the lobed nucleus. 26. Locomotion is not important for humans to do what? See that word again? That capitalized word. It is not important. To find food? No, locomotion really important to that. To find a mate, to locate a mate, that's important. To avoid predator, that's extremely important. To breathe in oxygen. Why do you need to move to breathe in oxygen, right? So this is not important. This is not important. Which of the following joints allow the movement of bones in one plane only? Not a capitalized word. In one plane only, so they don't want multiple planes. One plane, and we know one plane is a straight line, 180 degrees. So we are looking at a hinge joint, one like your knee or your elbow. All right. Which of the following is the most severe damage caused by the prolonged wearing of high-heeled shoes? The bones in the feet become misaligned. And they ask you for most. They capitalize the word most. Corns and calluses develop on the toes. So far, both these things are correct. The spaces between the toes tend to widen. That's also correct. There's less support placed on the heel of the feet. That's correct, but that could lead to some damage. That could lead to some back pain and, you know. So the most severe is D. A small volume of urine will most likely be produced after, and they ask you to fill in the rest, but we have identified the capitalized word, which is most. A high water intake, eating a diet low in salt, excessive exercise, being in a cold room for a long time. And I think most of us have experienced these activities or these statements. And so the answer should be excessive exercise. You will not urinate plenty when you're exercising plenty. But if you do take in a lot of water, you will want to urinate plenty. Eating a diet low in salt, so no salt, taking out salt in your diet, you will urinate plenty. Salt helps you retain water, so they have low salt. And being in a cold room when it's cold, you don't go to the bathroom more often. The longest continuous bone in the human skeleton for question 30 is the femur. That's your thigh bone. So we have reached halfway in the paper. We want to encourage you to subscribe and click that like button as we look forward to releasing more papers to help persons with their preparations for paper 1. This is the 31st question of this June 2018 paper 1. And so far we have done section A questions. We are in the middle of section B questions, and it follows the same order as in the syllabus. Nutrition, respiration, circulation, then we move on to musculoskeletal or muscle system or the skeletal system, and then we go into excretion or homeostasis, nervous system or coordination and control, followed by the reproductive system to close off section B. And following that, we will do the questions for C, D, and E. All right, and that follows the order of 1 to 60. So, question 31. Which of the following processes occurs when a person's blood glucose level is too high? The liver converts glucose to glycogen. That's how you remove glucose from your blood. And this is done by a hormone known as insulin, which comes from the pancreas. Liam notices that his face is flush red after playing football. Which of the following processes causes his face to become flush? All right, he's red, he's active, he's playing football, so his body has moved his blood closer to the surface of his skin. That's why his face seems to be red. That is known as vasodilation. So C is the answer. Which of the following substances are found in the urine of a healthy person? A healthy person would only have urea, water, and trace amounts of salts in it. So that means urea, salts, water, A. All right, if you have proteins, you probably have some kidney damage, your kidney might be malfunctioning, you have an infection. If you have glucose, you probably have diabetes. All right, so moving on to question 34. The information in the following table, they give you some actions and they identify them as voluntary. That means you can control them, and involuntary, you cannot control them. They happen automatically. Which of the following conclusions can be drawn from the table about voluntary and involuntary actions? And involuntary actions are automatic, as stated. Item 35 refers to the following diagram showing some of the organs in the body which produce hormones. Which hormone is secreted by the organ labeled S? Once you identify S as the pancreas, then you are looking for insulin as the answer. 36, the central nervous system is made up of the brain and the spinal cord. This is a very familiar question, so do learn it. Item 37 refers to the following diagram, which illustrates a nerve cell conducting an impulse from the sense organs to the central nervous system. They already tell us it's a sense organ. The cell above is known as, well, the hint was there, the sense organ. So if you find sensory corresponding with sense, then that makes sense. Which of the following comparisons is not true for nervous and hormonal control? That not being highlighted. Messages travel slowly and take longer to have an effect. That is not true. Messages travel fast and have a rapid effect. That's not true. So A is the answer. Ovulation is the process by which a mature egg is released into the oviduct. Another word for oviduct is fallopian tubes. They can use them interchangeably, so it would be wise to know both. Question 40. The main reason for family planning or practicing family planning is to ensure that sufficient resources for each family member. Yeah? It's not to make family richer. Remember, they asked you for the main reason. If families wanted to be richer, they should invest or do more work, earn more money, improve the economy of the country. You don't need to plan your family to improve the country economy. The economy of the country is controlled by the government. They should have plans for it. Give individuals more leisure time. No, that really don't have anything to do with family planning. So, 41. Which of the following methods of birth control is least effective in preventing pregnancy? Least effective being the operative word, and it is natural. That natural or rhythmic method of contraception is the least effective. Which of the following are true about the fallopian tubes? Remember, I told you fallopian tubes and oviduct is the same. Look, they use the word oviduct up there. And down here, they use the word fallopian tube. So they can use both words. Site where fertilization of the ovum occurs, that's true. Facilitates the passage of the ovum to the uterus, that's true. Produces the ovum, no, that's for the ovary. So we're looking for 1 and 2 only, and that is it. Item 43, we have this chart of estrogen and progesterone for Tanya's, right? This is Tanya. 1 month for Tanya, so her cycle is approximately 28 days long. During which part of a cycle is she most likely to become pregnant? And we see the estrogen going up here, so we know it's around 12 to 16. That's her ovulation period. So we are looking number 2, which is B. A tall man, and we see 2 capital T's here, that means the person is homozygous dominant. And a short woman, she has 2 common T's, 2 recessive alleles, so she is homozygous recessive, have 2 children. Which of the following indicates the phenotype of the children? So the phenotype of the children. So when you do this cross, they should work out to all their children should be heterozygous. All their children should be heterozygous. So they ask for phenotype. They didn't ask for the genotype. They asked for the phenotype. So when we look, both tall, both heterozygous. Look, they put the genotype here, which is a capital T, a dominant T, and a common T, a recessive T. 1 homozygous dominant and 1 homozygous recessive. No, this cross will not work out like that. 1 tall and 1 short. No, will not work out like that. Both tall, because the tall man is the dominant T, or the dominant allele. So, and they ask for the phenotype. So A is the answer. 45, in which of the following structures is an allele for eye color located? If we're talking about alleles, we're talking about chromosomes. So C is the answer. Item 46 and 47 refer to the following information. So 2 questions coming from this information. It is caused by a bacterium. Persons practicing poor hygiene are more susceptible. It can be fatal without medical treatment. It involves the formation of ulcers. Which statements are true about cholera? And if we know what cholera is, we know that it is caused by a bacterium. Poor hygiene does make it susceptible, and cholera does kill. The ulcers part, let's not go there. No ulcers. So 1, 2, and 3. So we are looking at 46 being C. Which statement is not true of syphilis? So we go back to the statements. Persons practicing poor hygiene are more susceptible. That would be the one that would jump out, right? Syphilis is a bacterium. It can be fatal, and there are different stages of syphilis. It does involve the formation of ulcers. So the one that is not true, because they have capitalized the word not, just to give us a hint, is B. During asexual reproduction, an organism produces new organisms that are identical to the parent by the process of, they told us it is asexual reproduction already, so that already kind of hints to mitosis. Antiretroviral drugs are used to cure HIV/AIDS. There is no cure. Cure pneumonia? No. Pneumonia could also be caused by a bacteria. So why use viral drugs? Prevent secondary infection. Control the reproduction of HIV. So 49 is D. 50. Which of the following occurs when a zygote receives one extra chromosome? Look how big they write this word one. And an example of such a thing is Down syndrome. And that is a chromosomal mutation. Item 51 refers to the following diagram showing the life cycle of a housefly. We have A, adult, B, eggs, C, larva, D, pupae. Which stage is prevented by keeping household refuse properly covered? So if you cover it, it means the adults don't get a nice environment to lay their eggs in. So the stage that you would prevent is the eggs, which is B. Infected persons display signs and symptoms of disease. Which of the following signs and symptoms are correctly classified? We have signs on one side and symptoms on one side. Sign headache, well, straight away, we know that a headache could only be experienced by the person having it. So that makes headache a symptom. So straight away, A and D is incorrect. So we cross those two out. So we have B and C left with. Sore throat. Sore throat is a sign. Headache is the symptom, but can the other person experience or see you having a sore throat? No, they cannot. So it means sore throat is a symptom. Shivering. Can I see you shivering? Yes, I can. So the answer is C. Signs can be seen or verified by other persons. Symptoms, only the person having it could experience it. Example, a headache. If you have a knee pain, that is a symptom. But a sign, another person could see it. Like you shivering, you trembling because it's cold, or you sweating. I can see you sweating. All right, so those would be examples of signs. Natural passive immunity involves a long-lived immunity. No idea what that means. Exposure to the pathogen, antibodies being passed to a child via the placenta, antibodies being passed to a mother via the placenta. And we will go with C because D is backwards. How is the placenta passing the antibodies to the mother? That is just written backwards, which makes it correct. C is the correct answer. Exposure to the pathogen is natural active. It's not passive. Passive means given to. The Anopheles mosquito is known for the spread of, and I hope once you hear Anopheles, your mind should go to malaria. The other types of mosquito diseases that the syllabus requires you to know is done by Aedes aegypti, like dengue, chikungunya, Zika. So once you hear Anopheles, your mind should go to malaria. Question 55. After a flood, the best method of removing bacteria from water for drinking is boiling it. The process of adding a calculated amount of chemical that is effective killing bacteria in a water treatment plant before water is distributed to customers is called chlorination. Item 57 refers to the following diagram of a water cycle. So we see the water cycle here. Which of the following labels indicate the process of evaporation? So that is water coming up from another water body. We have the C. One here is water coming out from the plants. That's transpiration. 2, that's condensation, water coming down. 3, 4, percolation, water running across the land. So 3, we are looking at 3, which is C. Which of the following is the correct sequence for conducting a test for the presence of bacteria? So they want you to put it in order. Agar plate is inoculated by streaking the loop across agar. Agar plate is covered and left for 2 days. Loop, petri dish, and agar sterilized. This sounds like the first step where you're now preparing the dishes. Agar plate is examined for growth of bacteria. So this is the last step. So we have 3 as the first step and 4 as the last step, right? So that puts us in C and D category. And agar plate is inoculated by streaking. Agar plate is covered and left for 2 days. So we have 1 coming before 2. The reason you're leaving the agar plate and you're covering it is so that the bacteria gets time to grow. After it grows for the 2 days, which is about 48 hours, you will examine it. You will examine it for any colonies of bacteria. So your answer is D. 59, which of the following activities are part of the biological filter method for sewage treatment? Sewage is pumped into a tank containing concrete stones. Bacteria and protozoa feed on sewage. Sewage is aerated and mixed with a paddle. And 2 is correct. 3 is definitely correct. Sewage is pumped into a tank containing concrete stones. It does not have to be concrete stones all the time. Some places now use a kind of polymer, a synthetically made polymer. So they remove the concrete stones. So 2 and 3 are definitely correct. So we are going with C. Final question. Compaction is done at landfills in order to control the dust, control the smell, get rid of spaces that may harbor pests, recover materials that are sent to be recycled. And there are no pests on a landfill, so we are going with C. And that completes this June 2018 paper 1 for human and social biology. Do remember to subscribe and like this video and look out for more videos to come.